Launcher has been helping students for various international standardized tests like GRE, GMAT, IELTS, NLAT, LSAT, SAT, and various other exams, including admission consulting for all the top tier programs for the universities like Harvard, Stanford, MIT, Columbia, Yale, um, and various others. So today I have a privilege of Purnima Rai, who is a senior marketing director at ETS, which are the makers of the GRE exam. All right, so I welcome Ms. Purnima and looking forward
Yes.
to hearing a lot of insights from you. So, just to understand the audience for today, everyone, if you can please quickly post your profile details in the chat box, like what is your academic background, which course have you done in your undergrad, how much score have and what type of programs that you're looking for applying abroad, which are your target universities. If you can quickly post these details in the chat box, we can probably pick up a couple of profiles and do a live profile analysis at the end. All right. So it would also help us to understand the audience for today so that we can be more specific and we can make this session more engaging for everyone here. All right. So I can see a few students still in the queue. So I'll wait for another few seconds and then we'll start off with today's session. All right, so let's start off with today's session. I can see a few students posting their profiles on my personal chat. I request all of you to please post your profile details um, in the main chat so that everyone can see and we can pick up a couple of profiles at the end and do a live profile analysis. All right, so let's begin today's session. So, firstly, let's understand the agenda today. So we'll be covering the management or the master's education spectrum. What are the different kind of programs which are offered abroad and how each of these programs are different from one another. I'll also cover the admission parameters and the weightage that is given to each of these parameters. A lot of students have questions around like how much weightage my resume would hold or how much weightage my undergrad score would hold. So I'll cover all of these things. Then I'll also cover the difference between GRE and GMAT. Not only GMAT, with the other competitive exams, which are predominantly for the top global universities. And then we'll cover the university application process and the prep strategy, like how one should prepare for various universities. And if you're looking for any specific program, so how exactly the timeline should look like what exactly needs to be done when. So me and Miss Purnima both will cover today's presentation and I can still see a few students sharing their profile details on my personal chat. Guys, please post in your profile details in the main chat. Okay, let's see the audience and I'll be happy if you can share your profile details so that we can be more and more specific in regard to your profile so that this session is more fruitful for everyone who is joining here. All right. So let's understand the master's programs at a glance. So, majorly, there are four different categories under which each of these programs are classified. The first category is engineering and technology. So, a lot of students who are exploring the options outside India, they look out for a core engineering program. For example, it could be a mechanical engineering program or aerospace or electricals or electronics, or they look out for a core technology program. For example, a program related to computer science, a program in data science. Okay, a lot of students they look out for a program specifically into artificial intelligence. So these programs are categorized under engineering and technology, and all of these programs are categorized under STEM. So STEM means which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So all of these programs they have a component of technology, engineering, and mathematics in the engineering and technology category. All right. And most of the students who are looking for becoming a software engineer or a data scientist or maybe a design engineer, they specifically go for these engineering and technology programs, and they predominantly apply to the top universities like MIT, Stanford, UC Berkeley, ETH Zurich, Georgia Tech. These are few of the top universities. There are many other universities like Oxford, like Cambridge, like NUS Singapore, like TU Delft. You have university like Princeton. You have UCLA. So there are various universities. And just to share this with you, there is absolutely no work experience requirement if you're looking for a program in engineering or technology category. All right. A lot of students they have these queries that I should have a prior work experience before I can apply for a computer science program abroad. That is not true. All the universities, be it the universities like MIT or Stanford, they do not ask for any prior work experience. However, if you have work experience and if you have contributed significantly in your work experience, so definitely that will be an add-on. But there is no eligibility criteria where you should have a prior work experience in order to apply for any engineering or technology program. You can apply right after your undergrad. Okay. The second category is sciences, which means the core sciences or the pure sciences program, where majority of students they look out for programs related to biology, related to physics, chemistry, environmental sciences, and integrated programs. For example, biochemistry or biomedical sciences or biophysics. So a lot of biotechnology, a lot of students they opt for these kind of integrated programs where the intent or the objective of pursuing these programs is to become either a research scientist or maybe an science analyst or maybe a biotechnician, or if you want to get into academia. All right, where a lot of students they look out for a master's program which is integrated with a PhD. But obviously, if you're looking for a career in a corporate or maybe in core sciences, so then most of the students they only look out for an MS program. But if someone who wants to get into research or academia, they look out for an integrated program that is MS plus PhD, which is specifically offered by the top schools like Harvard, Cambridge, John Hopkins, Caltech, University of Toronto. In fact, a lot of other universities like Oxford offers the same program. Then you have Princeton, then you have NYU, you have Columbia. All of these universities they offer these kind of programs. And again, for any core sciences program, there is no prior work experience required. You can apply right as a fresher without having any prior work experience. Third category and a very popular category is business and management, where a lot of students they apply for a program that is MBA, which is supposedly to be the most popular programs for the students who bring in some prior work experience and they want to explore business in detail. Okay, management domain in detail. Then there are other programs which are like Masters in Management, which is specifically for the candidates having no work experience. Then you have MSBA, that is Masters of Science in Business Analytics, which is an integration of business management and data science. All right. A lot of students who want to explore career in actuaries or statistics or analytics, they look out for a program that is business analytics. Then a lot of students now they look out for a program that is a core finance program, that is MFin or core finance. And this program is also integrated with a lot of technology programs. For example, MS in financial engineering or MS in financial technology or MS in quantitative finance or MS in computational finance. So a lot of students they look out for these integrated programs in finance, where the objective is to become either an investment banker or maybe a portfolio manager or a financial analyst, or you want to make some financial models. And if you're looking for an MBA or some other business masters program, the majority of students they enter getting into management consulting or product management as the major domains, where you must have heard of the top universities like Wharton, INSEAD, London Business School, HEC Paris, NYU Stern. In fact, there are Indian schools which offers these globally equivalent programs like ISB offers a 1 year MBA program. IIM Ahmedabad offers PGPX. IIM Bangalore, IIM Calcutta. All of these colleges they offer these MBA and pure masters programs. For an MBA specifically, you would need to have a prior work experience, which is ideally more than 3 years, more than 4 years. But for other business masters program, there is no specific work experience requirement. You can apply right as a fresher. All right. Then the last category is arts or humanities, where most of the students they expect careers in, let's say, political science, or to become a lawyer, or maybe to become an academic researcher, or if you want to get into public policy specifically. So they look out for the programs in public policy, MPP, that is Masters in Public Policy, or programs related to public administration, MPA, or MPA ID programs, Masters in Public Administration and Industrial Development. Then you look out for programs like MS Philosophy or MA in International Relations, where most of the students they end up getting jobs in some of the large global organizations like World Bank or WHO or IMF or UN. They look out for these kind of career opportunities, where universities like Oxford, Harvard, Kennedy School of Public Affairs. Then you have London School of Economics. You have Columbia School of Public Affairs. So these schools are gateway to landing jobs in some of the top global organizations like UN or WHO or World Bank. Okay, and there is absolutely no work experience requirement. You can apply right as a fresher. All right. Just to share this with you, uh, all of these programs, and Ms. Purnima, please correct me if I'm wrong, all of these programs, they would accept an exam that is GRE. Okay. So if you
A lot of people are
try
doing
to,
their masters abroad taking the GRE. In
yeah,
fact, that's the only exam available to
yeah.
take your GRE.
So
That's right.
that is the only exam which is applicable to apply for any of these programs. So understand the kind of scope of the GRE exam. So if you take one GRE and if you're still confused at which program that you're going to apply for your masters, so then definitely go ahead and take GRE and you can apply for different category of programs, or you can apply for some integrated programs, or you can apply for some specialized programs. That is
And
one
also
exam
for
for
business and
any of
law.
these.
So if you want, sorry, Deepak, just adding, if you want to do law or business also, that is your MBA, that also GRE is applicable for that. So if you just take one exam, it covers everything, your masters, business, law, every category is covered under GRE.
Now, let's understand the admission parameters and the weightage that is given to each of these parameters. So, the first and the most important is your profile. Profile means where your academics, your extracurriculars, your internships, your projects, and your work experience, if you require a work experience, would be evaluated. When it comes to your academics, so universities would predominantly look into your undergraduate score. How much have you scored in your undergraduation? That is your bachelor's. Second is that they would also understand what kind of additional certifications or any qualifications that you have academically. Second is that your extracurriculars, for example, if you've done any kind of research, or let's suppose if you have any social contribution, or if there is anything specific where you have made a significant difference. So that is a great add-on. Along with this, there are few programs where some practical exposure is critically evaluated. For example, if you have done some internship, or if you have done some projects, or if you have any prior work experience, so that is critically evaluated. Now, the weightage that is given to your profile is somewhat 30%. Okay, these are estimates. I'm not saying that these are fixed weightage that is given to each of these parameters. These are estimates, what we have observed after mentoring thousands and thousands of students so far. Okay, then comes your standardized test. So as I said, GRE is one common exam which is acceptable by maximum programs abroad. So this kind of the weightage that is given to GRE or some other GMAT or some other exams, the weightage is somewhat near about 25 to 30%. Where if you're looking for a STEM category program, your math score, your quant score would be critically evaluated. So it is important that you have to score really well on the quantitative section of your GRE or any other exam that you are going to take. Third parameter is going to be your applications, which includes your SOP, that is statement of purpose, where you'd have to clearly define this to the long-term goals, what are your short-term goals, how well you have aligned your profile with your goals, what kind of a work experience or any projects or any internships that you have, and why exactly you have shortlisted that university where you're applying, and how you're going to contribute in that university. Okay, so all of these things have to be explained in a format called statement of purpose, or there are universities which would ask you to submit essays. Now, again, these essays are very specific, ask you about any kind of instances in your life where you have got that motivation of applying for that master's program, or they would ask you about your practical experience, or they would ask you about your undergraduate studies and how well you have aligned your profile with your goals. So those kind of essays are mandatory. Second is your letter of recommendation. So all the universities would ask you to submit recommendations. Most of the universities, they ask for two recommendations, but for some STEM programs, they might ask you for three recommendations. Now, these recommendations are usually provided by your professors or by your mentors who know you personally as well as professionally and who can validate the claims on your academic abilities and the claims on your professional abilities. Okay, now again, recommendations are very, very important and they are mandatory. Okay, then comes your scholarship applications. If you wish to apply for any scholarships in any of the universities, so you'd have to submit application justifying why there is a need of a scholarship, how different that you're going to contribute towards the university and towards the cohort of that program. Okay, then comes your interviews. So interviewers, they're going to grill you, they're going to critically evaluate you based on your abilities of pursuing an academically rigorous program and your abilities of professionally taking up the roles and responsibilities that you would take up post completing your masters. Now, this has a weightage of around 40 to 45%. Now, understand, if you're a student having, if you have already completed your undergrad, so obviously you cannot do much about your profile, your academics, it is all done and dusted. But you still have the chance of maximizing your chances of securing an admission through having a high standardized test score, high GRE score, or by submitting excellent applications to the universities through your essays, through your letter of recommendations, through your scholarship applications, through your interviews. All right, so which would contribute to somewhat near about 70 to 75% of the weightage in your entire admission process. Okay, now before I get on to my subsequent slide, let's discuss more on the GRE exam because that is a common exam that you must have heard me saying a lot about GRE and a lot of that it is applicable for the various category of programs. Now, Miss Purnima, as you are specifically the ETS, is the maker of the GRE exam. They conduct, they administer, they create the GRE exam for the students across the globe. So I want you to run a few slides on what kind of a GRE exam is, where exactly it is applicable, and what are the components of the GRE exam, and how this exam is different from exams. Okay, over to you.
Thank you, Deepak, for the opportunity. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Purnima Rai. I'm the Senior Marketing Director at ETS. ETS is the maker of TOEFL and TOEIC exams. It's the largest assessment company in the world. So today we'll talk about GRE. I think all of you are aspirants for graduate studies. And I think, GRE is a single exam, that will get you ahead because, it covers like, business, law, if you're doing masters, everything is covered by the GRE test. So it's a one single test, that can cover everything. So I'm trying to share my slides at the same time. And I just let me know if you can see the slides. Um, uh, I think Deepak, only the host can share, is it? I'm not share my slide. Yeah, I think I can, but I think they're biased. Guys, can you see my slides now?
Yes, we can see your slide. You can make it full screen.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make it. So,
Yeah,
so I
it's
think that, yeah, this is great. So I think that all of you must be having the question like, why should you give GRE as any other test? And, why should you give the GRE at all for graduate programs? So just trying to cover, some of these points for you today. And please feel free to ask questions in the chat after the presentation. We'll be happy to answer any questions. Right. So GRE is accepted at 20,000 plus graduate business and law programs. So it is a single program. It's like an umbrella which covers, graduate business and law. There are some exams which cover only business. There are some exams which cover only law, but this is the only program or the only exam that covers graduate business and law and accepted is the most widely accepted across 20,000 universities or colleges across more than 70 plus. Also, if you're looking for a fellowship or a scholarship, your GRE score, the moment you put your GRE score in your application, it helps you. And how? I mean, there are some studies, etc. And also, if you're looking to take a loan, we've heard many loan providers telling us that, the moment they see a GRE score on the loan application, their confidence builds up and you are more likely to get the loan, right? So the other question is that why GRE? So GRE is like a standardized test. You know that, when you're going to a foreign university, people are coming from all over the world. And everybody gives different boards and exams, but they require one standardized test. So GRE is a standardized test, which measures everybody on the same field, right? So that is, and colleges also need to understand whether you are academically prepared for graduate studies. So the other thing is that, you know, why GRE in the sense that does it really, help you? So here we'll see that, how GRE helps you. So there are studies which show that when you submit your applications with the GRE score, 81% of the GRE test takers are accepted into graduate programs when they submit their application with the GRE score. This is a research study that was done on GRE test takers, and 81% of who submitted their application with the GRE score got into a graduate program. And also, you have also heard a number of colleges saying that no GRE is required. But when people submit their application with the GRE score, their chances of getting in are 87% versus 75% if they submitted the application without the GRE score. So the message is that even if a college says that no GRE is required, you can, you should take the GRE exam and submit your application with the score because your chances of getting in are higher because the moment you take the GRE exam, the college is more confident. So, like what I said just now was, leave no questions on the table. That means the moment you take the GRE exam, the college feels more confident that you have the rigor and you have study skill sets to succeed. So that is why they use the GRE score to evaluate that, right? You as a candidate, when you are giving the GRE test, it also helps you understand whether you're ready for a graduate program because the rigor that is involved when you prepare, etc., also enables you to understand whether you are academically ready to take that step. Also, when you prepare for the GRE test, your vocabulary improves, your quant improves, your writing skills improve. These three components of the GRE test. So a lot of the students, there are a lot of people for whom English is not their native language and give the GRE. So my vocab has improved after taking the GRE test, right? So a lot of people in India also, when they're sitting for the CAT exam, they prepare using the GRE. It helps them build their vocabulary for the CAT exam as well. Also, the other thing is that GRE scores, when you submit it in your application for a scholarship, it helps you because it says more than 57% of GRE test takers who submit scores as part of their scholarship applications are offered a scholarship. So again, a study. So your chances of getting a scholarship with the GRE score on your application is about 57%. So I think you should go ahead and take the test. Also, I think Deepak was talking before, on what all things are required when you submit your application to a graduate program. So, you have to some research experience, internship experience, your letter of recommendation, etc. all needs to be there. But in case, suppose you do not have enough research experience or do not have enough internship experiences on your profile, or you do not have enough letters of recommendation, etc., or the college you have studied in is not one of the top ranked colleges from your home country, then the GRE scores help you stand out. So in that case, if you take the GRE, it acts as a leveler. It helps you. And also, if your CGPA is low, then also if you take this GRE test. So these are a lot of, if you go on to Quora and you type these questions, I just picked up from Quora, a lot of the students are saying that, my CGPA was low, I didn't have enough internship experience, my college was not well recognized, and but I took the GRE and that helped me get in. Or, GRE can also help me get a scholarship. So these are some of the points I have picked up from Quora, where students themselves have written about it, right? Also, where can you take the test? So the GRE test, you can take it at a test center or you can take it at home. So there are about plus 10 test centers in about 160 countries where you can take the GRE. In India also, we have a large number of test centers in the country where you can take the GRE test, or otherwise you it at home 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So, you can just register and, you choose whichever, whether you take it at home or a test center, that choice is totally yours, right? So a lot of people take it at a test center, and that's, I think, some of what we see. A lot of the students take the at a test center, and but of course the choice is totally yours where you want to take it. Okay, so like Deepak said that we talk a little bit about the test structure. So I think some of you must be familiar that the GRE earlier was a 4-hour test, right? But now it has been reduced to 1 hour 58 minutes from 2023. And the sections of the test are, analytical writing, there's verbal reasoning, and quantitative reasoning. So these are the 3 sections. Analytical writing always comes first, but the other sections, they come in any random order, right? Also, the thing is that this test is, I'll cover the slide first, is section level adaptive. That means the way you give the previous section, will determine how the questions come in the next section. So if you have scored really well in your, previous section, the questions which will come in the next section will be of slightly more greater difficulty, right? But that shows that you are that your benchmark is higher, right? So that goes in your favor, right? So it's some of the other tests, they are more section level adaptive. So there are different types of tests, right? But in GRE, it is section level adaptive. Also, I think that when you compare GRE versus any other test, and it could be the GMAT, etc., you find that there are certain positives in the GRE test. It is not that rigid. So you can questions in any order you want. So the thing is that if a question is difficult, you can tag it and skip it at that point in time, and you can come back to it later. Also, section, you can come back and review, you can change your answers. It's not like when you finish a section, it gets locked. You can come back and you can change the answers, you can edit it, etc. Give that opportunity, right? A number of other tests do not give you that opportunity to change, to tag, to reconsider. Whatever you've answered once is done. Also, is the calculator. So in the quantitative section, you are allowed to use a calculator. Also, there is another feature called the best score. So if you give the GRE test 3-4 times, so what you can do is you can either send the best score of one test, you can either send all the scores, or you can send score. So whatever you want to display to the college, whichever score that you can only display that. So I mean, the choice is totally yours. Whether all the scores, the single score, the last score, you can give it in any order. Also, I think a lot of the students here are still in college. So I think very big thing is that the GRE score is valid for 5 years. So when you're still in college, you can give the test and the score will be valid even when you graduate, right? So you can prep for the test in advance and give it. So one more thing that I think one myth buster that I wanted to cover here in this section is that you should always attempt every question in the GRE paper. I mean, in the sense in the paper, because there is no negative marking. So you should never leave the question unanswered. You should always take a guess at it because there is no negative marking. In some other exams like GMAT, there is negative marking. So in this case, you should always go take a guess, even if you don't know the answer. In the GRE test, analytical writing is 0 to 6 marks, verbal is between 130 to 170, and quantitative reasoning is 130 to 170. So your total score is about 340, and analytical writing scores are separately. So that's how the test is scored. Also, we get a lot of questions and a lot of webinars that what is a good score, but that depends upon the college you are applying. So the Ivy Leagues and the good colleges, they require anything above 320, but so you have to get a better score in order to get into a Ivy League college. But there are 20,000 universities around the world which accept the GRE score. So even if your score is slightly lower, you should not get disheartened. You can apply to any other university. Also, you can retest. So we've done a study where we've seen that when you retest GRE, your scores always improve. That is, of course, if you are prepared. It's not that without preparation you go for it. But after preparing and taking the test again, we found students, better marks, right? So these are some insights I wanted to share, plus also certain tips and strategies. Of course, Career Launcher, will help you prepare and give you that, daily rigor and practice, to prepare for the GRE test. But we have certain tools on the official ETS website, ets.org/GRE. If you go onto our website, we have certain, there's a power prep test tool. You can go and practice. One is a free test where you can, understand what is the format of the test. And the other is their timed tests, which are paid, practice tests, which you can, when you want to practice or you want to assess how good or bad you are, you can, take the test at that point. Also, like I said, that, do not waste your time on difficult questions. You can always come back to it and attempt it later. Like I said, the section doesn't get locked. So in the test, you should keep on moving. If you don't understand a question or cannot understand, you should move forward. You can always come back to it later. Also, the thing is that you should never leave any question unanswered, because you should always take a guess, because there is no negative marking. So these are some, things that are there. Plus, you can also prep with resources that are there on the side. So these are some bundles that we have currently, and there's certain percentage discount available on it. You can always go ahead and buy it. And at this point, till 12th of July, we have, a summer offer, GRE Summer 15. So you can, if you apply it, you will get another 15% off. Also, the fact is that, we also have the TOEFL test. So, what if you want to, when you give the GRE, a number of programs also require you to prove your, English proficiency. So in that case, you can also take the TOEFL test. So we've got count. So that means if you book the GRE test and when you are checking out, you can click on a checkbox and you will get 3,000 rupees off, 3,007 rupees off on the TOEFL. I don't know if you can see it, but this is GRE TOEFL combo gives you 3,007 rupees off, right? And if any of you want to also note down this code, GRE 15, you can take a screenshot of this. So because this is only applicable to the 12th of July, right? So this is there as well. Also, we have a quiz which is there on our website. So if you just want to get a short gist of the test, you can just go through it. The other thing which I would also recommend sign up for is a graduate search service. So when you create an account on ETS, for GRE, even give the exam, you can opt for the graduate search service. So, and you have to create your profile. This is absolutely free of cost. This tells universities that, what is the program you're looking to apply, what is your current profile look like. So, a lot of the colleges, they opt for the search service, which ETS sells to colleges. And they want to understand in their geographical locations, which are the candidates, or overseas, which are the candidates who would be a good fit for their college. So they basically, look at the search service. So you can sign into your ETS account. You can select the link graduate search service. You can take a moment to provide this some information, profile that you need to put in over there. And then schools can find you and basis the search terms or search queries that they put in, your profile will come up. So they can find you for their particular, can find you for their particular program, right? Also for MBA, so GR accepted in 1,300 plus business schools across 72 countries. So there is a page on the ETS website, which is ets.org grad school. Here there are a lot of resources that you can, that are there which you can help you. Why grad school, how an MBA can help you in your career. So there are a lot of resources here. You can always go and read on this page. I don't know if you can, you're able to make out the link, but I'm just putting it here. So if you want to just copy it, here's the link to that page. So these are two QR codes if you want to scan them. So the questions answered about graduate school and how to get into business school in the US. So these are certain QR codes. You'll also find them on our website. So you can always see them there. So that's all from my side. So Deepak, over to you.
Thank you so much for the value, and I'm sure that the students must have got a fair idea what kind of a GRE exam is and why exactly is required. Because see, if you're applying for any of the top tier universities, you'd have to any which way show your ability of handling the academic rigor. And the easiest way to do that is to appear for an exam and tell this to the university that I have appeared for an exam which is conducted globally, okay, which test me on the topics related to critical reasoning or topics related to verbal reasoning, and this is what I have performed. That's why the GRE score is something which has a very high weightage in your application process. And as Ms. Purnima mentioned that data, that 81% of the students who apply with a GRE score, they get through with their graduate programs. So that is an amazing insight to learn here. And now let me cover uh, the prep strategy for GRE. Like how much time is it require? What exactly needs to be done when in order to get a very high GRE score? So as Ms. Purnima mentioned that GRE is out of 340. Now in order to get into any of the top tier university, any score above 320 is considered to be a very good score. Okay. However, there is no cutoff for the universities. Students get admission at a score of 310, 312, 315 also, but a 320 score is considered to be somewhat equivalent to a 85th percentile, which is a good enough score which makes you in the top 15% of the students who are appearing for GRE globally, and which is a good enough score to target any of the top 50 or top 60 universities across the globe. All right, so when you're preparing for GRE, and this is what we follow in our training module also at Career Launcher, that in your we would help you to get familiarized with all the different topics which are tested on GRE. Okay, so we'll help you to take a diagnostic test. So either you can take a mini quiz which is available on the ETS website, or else Career Launcher also has a diagnostic test which is very much similar to the actual GRE exam. Okay, so this is just to give you an idea that what kind of a test is, and how exactly it is going to test you on different type of questions. So you can go ahead and take a diagnostic test. Then we'll help you to start working basics, how to develop that vocabulary, how to go through the fundamentals of the topics which you must have undergone maybe in your sixth, seventh, eighth class. Okay, like the concepts of percentages, of geometry, or ratios and proportion, or algebra. So you go through all of these topics quite in detail in the first month. In the second month, we'll help you to start taking some tests which are divided topic wise, and we'll go deeper into the concept building for each of the topics which are tested on GRE. Okay, and this is the stage where we would expect you to start solving the questions of 320 and above difficulty level. And by the time you start practicing and you get a hold of all the different kind of question types, you would easily be able to solve the questions of 320 plus difficulty without any pressure. Okay, then in the third month, we would recommend you to start taking your sectional test. We will recommend you to start going through the 330 plus level difficulty questions. And this is where we'll refine your concepts. This is where we'll share test taking strategies. We'll share the deep tips and tricks which are actually going to help you to start achieving a highest possible accuracy at a 330 plus level difficulty questions. Okay, and in the final month, that is the third or the fourth month, we would help you to start taking your GRE full length mocks, where we would help you with the full length mocks which are as similar as to the actual GRE test. This is where we also recommend students to take official ETS mocks which are available on ets.org, where you'd get a fair idea of how much you are going to score in your actual GRE exam. And we analyze each of these mocks. We tell you that where exactly you're going wrong, what are the kind of concepts that you need to revise and do well upon. And then finally, once you start achieving your score consistently in your mocks, then we'll give you a go ahead and you can finally take your GRE exam. We're also helping out with your GRE exam booking, and we also share a lot of like coupons or some kind of offers that are going on the ETS GRE booking. So as Ms. Purnima shared that there is a discount going on if you register for the GRE exam or if you go ahead with the official prep. So this is where we also recommend the official material and the official prep to the students along with the career launcher material and the career launcher prep what we are going to provide. All right, then let's cover what are the key points that you should ensure while submitting your applications for any of the master's program abroad. Okay, the first thing is that you have to submit a strong and a complete application. Okay, now I'll cover each of these points where what we have observed that students usually make some mistakes while submitting the applications on their own. Okay, so a lot of students they craft an application, but they forget or they're not well aware of what are the kind of documents which are required that you need to attach along with your application. So this is where a statement of purpose, which is a clear and a personalized document where you'd be sharing your long-term and your short-term career goals clearly to the AdCom. You'd have to attach your letter of recommendations either in the form of credentials or in the form of a letter which is signed and stamped by your professors. Along with this, you'd have to submit a resume or a CV, which is for a maximum of 1 or 2 pages. And most of the universities they have specific formats. Okay, for a resume. So this is where it is important that you would have to like craft a resume in the format that is stated by the university. Okay. Along with this, you'd have to attach your transcripts. Transcripts are your college mark sheets, semester wise, where there is a clear indication of your score as well as the conversion of that score into percentages. Okay, a lot of universities they score you on a scale of 4 or maybe 4.33 or a scale of 5 or a scale of 10. So there is a conversion table that has to be attached along with your transcripts, and then you'll have to attach your test scores whichever exam that you're going to appear for and you're going to submit your scores. So it is important that you share that score with your application. Along with this, you'd have to officially get your scores reported to the university from the conducting body. So for example, if you're applying to Carnegie Mellon and you have to submit your GRE score, so then ETS is going to report your score directly to Carnegie Mellon. So you'd have to tell this to ETS that this is the program and the university where I'm applying. There will be a unique code that will be given by Carnegie Mellon that you'd have to attach and send it to ETS so that ETS can send your GRE score to the Carnegie to the university of your choice. All right. So this is a process. Then comes adherence to the timeline and deadlines. So it is very important that you keep a note of all the various deadlines and what are the timeline that you should be following. And I'll also share the timeline in my subsequent slide. Then comes your fitment for the course and the university. Okay, do not only go by rankings, do not only go by the popularity of the program or the popularity of the university. There has to be an in-depth research what you would have to do before finalizing on the course and the university where you're going to apply. Okay, this is where consultants at Career Launcher, we help you in shortlisting the right fit universities and right fit programs. Okay, where which would really be helpful in achieving your long term and your short term career goals. Then comes financial planning. Okay, a lot of students, what they do is that they wait for the results, they wait for the results, and then they start planning their finances. But that is not how one should follow this. So you should start managing your finances right from the day one when you're thinking of applying for a master's program. Some universities or maybe countries like US or UK or Canada or Australia, they would ask you to have a certain amount in your bank account to show as a proof of funds. Okay, so this is where it is important that you start managing your finances right from the day one. Along with this, there are a lot of options to apply for scholarships, assistantships, financial aids, fellowships. There are plenty of options which are available for almost all the universities outside India. So this is where do an in-depth research in finding out the various scholarship options that are available, and this is what we also share with our students. In fact, most of our students, just to give you that data, 65% of the students who join Career Launcher, they join the university of their choice with a scholarship. Okay, this year we were able to generate $2 million scholarships across all of our applicants. All right. Then whichever university that you are going to apply for, okay, personalize your application according to that university. There is no general application which is going to be submitted to all the different universities. It has to be personalized, it has to be university specific. Okay, so take the help of your consultant for the research, for the kind of clubs and societies, for the kind of research facilities, for the kind of batch profile or the curriculum which is offered by the university, so that you can add all of these pointers to your SOP or the essays that you're going to submit, so that you can make your essays and SOPs personalized for each of the university that you're going to submit. Then do proofreading and double check. And most importantly, do not use AI. Do not use ChatGPT or any other AI tool to craft your application or to maybe to get your application reviewed. That is not at all going to help you, because universities do use the AI detected tools so that they understand whether the content, whatever you have shared in your essays and SOP, is AI written or it's human written. Okay. Do not even try to give that prompt to ChatGPT that make it artist. Okay, a lot of students I have figured out who tell this to ChatGPT that make this content human written, but obviously that is AI at the end who is going to work out on that. So don't do that. Universities, they are going to detect the AI component in your essays and SOPs. Do not follow that. Well, if possible, share and discuss your essays and SOPs with a consultant. Take a consultant help so that the consultant can tell you that what exactly should go in your applications, how exactly you should present your long-term and your short-term career goals, how to align your profile with your goals, and finally how to tell this to the adcom that how you're going to be a value addition to the university and to the peer batchmates or the cohort of that particular program. Okay. Then finally, keep a track post submission. It's not about that you've submitted the application and forget about it. You'd have to keep a track. You might have to write some regular emails to the universities. You'd have to regularly log into your application portal so that you can check the admission decision. If you've gotten a decision, so then you'd have to act immediately upon your decision confirmation also. All right. So these are the kind of pointers that you'd have to ensure while submitting your application to any of those universities. All right. Now here is the timeline. If you're applying for fall of 2026, fall 26 means where your academic program would start in September 2026. So it is important that you get done with your goal setting and understanding your skill gaps in the month of July, that is in this month itself. Get your universities and programs shortlisted by mid of August or by the end of August to be the latest. Get done with your essays and SOPs anywhere between July till September. Okay, each university is going to ask you for one statement of purpose, or it may ask you for two or three essays. Okay, depending upon the program that you're going to apply for. And then you'd have to get done with your letter of recommendations latest by September or October of this year. Okay, and side by side, utilize this time frame from July till October to prepare for the GRE exam. That is very important. Okay, then comes your interview and your scholarship applications, which would be conducted anywhere between October to December. And once you have gotten an admit, then you'd have to declare your finances and go ahead with your visa applications between February and May of 2026, so that you can join the university in August of 2026, where the program would start in September of 2026. Okay, this is a proper timeline what you'd have to follow. Please take a screenshot. Please take a note of each of these steps, which are very, very important and mandatory in your application process. Okay. Now, if anyone who is willing to apply for the spring of 2027, spring of 2027 means where the program would start in January of 2027. Okay, so you'd have to get done with your goal setting by September, profile building by December. Your applications have to be ready by February of 2026. Get your GRE scores by February. Submit your applications anywhere between Jan and April of 2026. Okay, so that means the application process starts 1 year prior to the intake year. So that means if you're applying in September of 2026, the applications will start in July of 2025. If you're applying for Jan of 2027, the applications would start somewhere in December of 2025. Okay, more than a month, more than a year prior. Okay, so this is where you'd have to start working out on your applications immediately if in case if you're applying for 2026 or maybe 2027 spring intake. Now, what we do at Career Launcher, we prepare students for the GRE program, where we do group training. We have group classes, live and interactive classes. Then we have one-to-one tutoring, where a lot of students go ahead with private tutoring with our faculties. Along with this, we do admission consulting for all STEM programs, all MS programs. And if you're applying for any business program, so we'll be covering most of the STEM business programs like MBA, MIM, MFin, MSBA, all the different kind of business masters. And we also consult students for non-STEM program. For example, if you want to get into a program related to public policy or public administration, industrial development, or international relations, or political sciences. So we are going to help you out with all the different category of MS or MBA programs abroad. Okay. Now, how do we do it? So we help you in selecting the right fit master's program. Then we help you with building up your profile and selecting the right set of universities. We help you to craft your essays and your SOPs and all the different documents which are required. We also guide you with video essays. Now, most of the universities, they do not take in-person interviews or the Skype interviews. Most of the universities, they have started taking video essays where they would give you a prompt, an AI generated prompt, and you'd have to record your interview and submit it to the university. Okay, right? So this is where we prepare you for what are the kind of probable questions that you might get in your video essay, and how you need to structure your answers for these video essays. Then we'll finally review your application and submit your application to the different universities. Now the process starts from Masters Council, understanding the universities, going through the rankings, going through the program curriculum, understanding the location of those universities, understanding the research facilities, and what are your long-term prospects. What do you want to settle there, or you want to come back to your home country, or if you want to study there, work there, and then come back to your home country. So we'll cover each and every parameter into we'll take each and every parameter into consideration, and accordingly, we are going to shortlist the right and create your long-term and your short-term career goals. Then we'll also prepare you for the exams like GRE or GMAT or IELTS exam or TOEFL exam, whichever exam is required as per the university and the program. Accordingly, we'll help you to build your profile. We'll share a lot of profile building recommendations, and we'll help you to craft your resume as per the university defined format. Then the brass tacks, which includes your application essays. We personalize your essays uh, for each of the universities we are going to where you're going to apply. What are the kind of expectations from the university from a candidate? So we'll help you to craft all of your essays and SOPs as per the format required. And then we'll guide you who should be your recommender, what exactly he or she should recommend you for, and how your recommendation or how your recommender should validate the claims that you've made in your essays and SOPs. Okay, so we'll share that content with you that you can further discuss it with your recommender. And then final step would be the closure, where we are going to prepare you for the interviews. We'll guide you for your scholarships. And once you have an admit, then we'll help you with your post-admission assistance, which includes any kind of financial declaration, getting a loan from a bank, or getting your visas done, helping you out with your accommodation. So that is an end-to-end process, how we help our students to get through with their top admits. And here are the top admits. This year we have shown excellent results of the students who have scored, who have secured admissions to the universities like Harvard or INSEAD or HEC Paris, Brown University. Akansha Gupta is joining Brown, which is an Ivy League school, for an MS Computer Science program. Mansi Doshi again joining a computer science program. Gurleen Kalra is joining an electronics and electricals program at Brown University. Then we got deferred MBA admit at Cornell by Karthik Tyagi. Yeah, Siddharth Saridevi is going to join MS Finance at University of Southern California, which is ranked sixth in the world ranking. Then a lot of students they join ISB who have appeared for GRE, because ISB also accepts GRE in India. And a lot of students they got into the business programs like HEC Paris or maybe ESEP or ASEC Business School, which again accepts GRE. Okay, here are a few other students who've gotten admit into the best universities across the globe. Now I formally conclude the presentation for today, and I open the forum for the Q&A. And as mentioned, I'll take the profiles from the chat box and I'll uh, do a live profile analysis. If in case if you have any questions around your masters, so please feel free to post it in the chat box. Me and Miss Purnima would be here to help you out with any kind of questions that you might have. Okay, the first question that we have got is the GRE full form. All right, that is Graduate Record Examination.
Yeah.
All right. Um, let's pick up the profile of I'm a BCA student, and now I want to do MS in robotics and automation from Carnegie Mellon University. Am I eligible or not? Because BCA is a 3-year undergraduate degree. So see, BCA is any which way is a three-year undergraduate degree in India, but for a program in robotics and automation, you'd have to show a very strong component of computer science, electronics, mechatronics in your profile in order to get into a robotics and an automation program. So BCA degree does not include anything related to electronics or mechatronics. So obviously, Vardhan, you would be struggling a lot to get into a robotics and an automation program. In my opinion, landing up and admit in a MS robotics and automation program right after your BCA would be very, very difficult. So in my opinion, you should ideally be going ahead with a diploma program or any specific degree program which helps you to get mechatronics and electronics with an integration of computer science program. Any specific diploma or a degree around this domain, and then you can look out for an MS in robotics and automation. Rudra has asked, what is the best time to start preparing for GRE? So, Rudra, it typically takes 3 to 4 months to prepare for GRE. Okay, so if you're planning for the September of 2026, considering the application deadlines and the timeline of the process, now is the best time that you should be getting started off with your GRE prep, because you should have your GRE scores latest by October of this year. Okay, so July is the best time when you should get started off with your GRE. GRE scores help to seek good jobs in India too, definitely. In fact, a lot of organizations, they take GRE scores as a benchmark to give you jobs related to analytics or related to statistics or related to core finance. So obviously, it does help you to get good jobs in India also.
Like if you
Is
put your
there?
GRE score on your CV, it
Yeah.
definitely helps you stand out. So you can apply for jobs, scholarships, you can apply for your master's program, you can apply for loans, all of it. The GRE score helps you stand out everywhere.
Yeah. Is there any substitute for LOR? No, Shirish, there is no substitute for LOR. See, universities, all they ask you is to submit the credentials of your recommender. Credential mean like the name, phone number, email ID, official designation of the organization, and they would send a direct link to your recommender where there will be a questionnaire. Okay, and the questionnaire would have questions around your academic abilities and about your professional abilities that your recommender would have to answer. Okay, this is what an LOR nowadays means. And some universities might ask you to have a LOR on a letterhead signed and stamped by your recommender, and then you'll have to get it submitted to the university. But this is a mandate thing. Okay, you cannot skip LOR any which ways. Um, Jessil Jolly, let me go through your question. I guess I missed your
I
question.
think he's written, I joined session after, okay, what about jobs after masters considering the present job market? Is it in India or you're talking about abroad? Is it that you're referring to the Indian job market or the overseas job? So,
See, Jolly, understand, if you are pursuing your masters from any of the top tier college, so that is itself a validation that you're good with your skills. Okay, you're firm with your long term and with your short term career goals. Because universities also have a rigorous selection process. Okay, that is the first validation that any recruiter is going to consider while offering you a job, that you've gotten through a school like Carnegie Mellon or a Princeton or a MIT or a Stanford or any other school equivalent to these schools. So that is first validation. Second is what kind of skills that you have acquired during your master's program. Okay, what kind of internships or projects that you have worked upon. If you follow the process, if you incorporate all of these things in your profile, so getting a job is not at all a difficult task. Just to share this with you, there were somewhat around 3.5 lakh students who went specifically to US, okay, from India, okay, for their higher education, including undergraduation and masters. All right. So, see, despite what exactly you're hearing in the news about the job market in any of the international geographies, students are getting placed. Okay, be it the market in UK or in Canada or in US or in Australia or in Europe or anywhere else, including India also. Students are, it's just that it's just that recruiters have become more stringent on evaluating your skills, not only the popularity or the brand name that you have in your CV. Okay, so getting a job is absolutely not a difficult task until unless you have the right kind of skills which are required. And this is where a top class master's program, a better curriculum would help you to acquire those kind of skills. So that is something that you should be focusing upon. All right. Dhruv has asked a question. I've done my undergrad in hotel management, 4-year degree, did my industrial training in Doha with FIFA 2022, and then had my J1 program in US for 4 to 5 months. Now working in hospitality itself and targeting class of 2029 or 30. So if you're joining the class of 2029, that means you're going to start off with your masters in 2027 or 2028. This is what you mean, Dhruv, right? What are the things I should keep in mind while preparing for GRE or GMAT as coming from non-STEM background after 10th? So see, understand, Dhruv, first of all, GRE exam or GMAT exam, they're not going to test you on higher mathematics. Okay, they're not at all going to test you on integration differentiation. They're not going to test you on calculus or any advanced algebra. They're just going to test you on the concepts which you have studied or learned till 10th standard. Okay, so the topics like percentages and ratios, time, speed, and distance, time and work, or number theory, or geometrical equations, be it and the kind of geometrical figures like triangles or parabolas or related to that. That is something which is covered in the GRE exam. There is absolutely not going to be any component related to calculus, advanced algebra, or differentiation or integration. Okay, so it's just that you'd have to go through the kind of fundamental topics that you have studied in class 6, 7th, 8th and make it strong, and then apply those rules, apply those concepts for higher difficulty level questions. This is what we are going to cover in our training module. All right. So don't worry about anything specific that you need to go through while preparing for the GRE exam. All right. I'm targeting techno managerial roles in IT industry such as product management and related, which master's course will lead me to such roles. I'm a computer engineering graduate with 3 years experience in development. So, Alicia, if you're looking for a techno managerial role specifically related to product management, in my opinion, a program related to business analytics is a perfect program. Majority of placements happening after business and analytics are in product management. Okay, so a business analytics program is a integration of management and data science. Okay, so this is where you can is your proficiency in computer engineering related to the tools like Python or R or Tableau, which would definitely integrate well with the kind of concepts which are taught in marketing and finance. And all of these together would help you to like make a very strong profile for a product management role. Okay, this is what I would recommend. Guys, I'm posting link in the chat box. If you want to get your profile evaluated one-on-one, all right, I'll be more than happy to take your doubts and queries one-on-one. So please feel free to fill this form and register for a free one-on-one profile analysis session. All right, I'm just posting the form link in the chat box. Please go ahead and fill up this form. Got a personal message. I'm pursuing bioengineering and want to pursue MS in the same. How can I go ahead? So, Shinjini, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. So Shinjini, if you're pursuing a bioengineering program, so you can definitely get into an MS in biotechnology or MS in bioengineering itself for any of the top-notch universities, either in US or in Europe. For that, you'd have to appear for GRE exam and complement it well with the English proficiency exam that is going to be TOEFL or IELTS. Along with this, you'd have to craft your SOP for your target universities and submit a resume which is well structured, where you clearly define your work experience or any kind of projects or internships that you have done, and submit all of these things together latest by September or October of this year. Okay, kind of process what you'd have to follow, and we'll be more than happy to assist you. Please go ahead and fill up the form link, and I'll be like taking your session one on one. Do I need to have 9-pointer CGPA? That is obviously it is good to have, but it is not mandatory, Shinjani. Okay, so it's not that any student having a lesser GPA would not be able to get into the top schools. But obviously, this is an important parameter. Higher the better.
There's another question. After I pursue the AI/ML, then after that, can I pursue masters in robotics and automation? I think it's a question.
Vardhan, you can do that, but I would not recommend going ahead with the MCA program. Rather, go for a master's program in AI or machine learning. Okay, that program would align better with your interest of getting and automation. And it is very important that you integrate that program with mechatronics. That is very important. That is mechanical and electronics together. All right. I guess we have answered all the different, and I'll be more than happy to take your further doubts and queries in a one-to-one session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And I thank you, Miss Purnima, for joining in on a Sunday, sparing out time and sharing valuable insights about GRE with all of the students at Career Launcher. So I'm grateful, and we look forward to having you in more further sessions that we conduct together.
Thank you so much, Deepak, for inviting. And yes, I hope to be on more sessions. It was, I think, very interesting, and some very good questions came. And
Yeah.
if there's any further question you have, you can always write to me on my LinkedIn profile. So it's Purnima Rai. So you can always look me up on LinkedIn. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in on Sunday afternoon. So please go ahead and register yourself for a one-to-one profile analysis. Looking forward to connecting with each one of you. All right. So all the best and a very happy Sunday. Thank you.